Welcome to our first and last Gymcast of the year. Brandon Zimmerman of the Gainesville Sun, Pat Dooley of the Gainesville Sun. We're here in Athens, Georgia at Stegman Coliseum, where the Gymnastics Championships were held as Florida finishes 4th in the nation. Georgia wins its 9th national championship under Suzanne Yacoulin. And, fairly impressive performance by Georgia, but more than anything, it seemed that nobody else stepped up to the plate.
Yeah, and this is Georgia's home arena with their home crowd. It's pretty much, their event to lose. And it's, they pretty much took control of the crowd and had the momentum going all night, and I don't think anyone else could really challenge them.
It really started right from the beginning. Georgia started on the floor, Brandon, and as you know, in covering gymnastics, on the floor is when you're going to get the loudest roars, and that was a loud crowd tonight, and meanwhile, Florida's over there on the bars and did not perform well under the adversity.
Yeah, and even Amanda Castillo said the crowd was really loud, and it kind of got to her a little bit. It bothered her while she was up on bars and on beam, and it's kind of hard to tune that out. You can't really simulate that. You practice all year in the gym, and you really can't simulate what it's like to have a huge crowd cheering like that. And they've played here before, but it's never the same environment with national championship. Everyone's screaming and yelling, so it really got to Florida, and it was a tough start for them. They just couldn't recover from it.
State of Georgia hadn't been good to the Gators this year, has it?
Of course, not so much.
Losing in Duluth in the SECs and then losing here, finishing 4th. The one good sign was that they did come back and kind of rally to finish 4th. They were in last place going into the second half of the two rotations. It wasn't looking good for them either. They were way behind. Some other people messed up, and they finished strong with the floor, obviously, in the vault. But so 4th place in the nation. It's not the end of the world.
Yeah, it's not too bad. Here you finish 4th. It's not obviously not what Florida wanted. They were ranked in the top 3 all year. Couldn't even finish in the top 3 here. It's kind of like last year. They were ranked number 1 all year. Finished 3rd in the country. So it's been kind of the story for them with these championships, where they just kind of really don't get it done when it matters the most.
And Rhonda was saying, Brandon, that certainly, because I asked her the question about starting on the bars while Georgia was on the floor and the crowd was going nuts, and she said, no, it wasn't ideal, but they've got to fight through that. And I think that's one thing they didn't show tonight in those first 2 rotations. They didn't really show the focus and keep that energy up. We were talking about Melanie Sinclair actually showed up 2.5 hours before the bus left, already in a leotard. So they were excited about it, but it's almost like that whole scenario took all the energy away from them. And Florida's first gymnast, first up was the first down. Miranda Smith comes up, falls on the bar, and that, I think, it set the tone. As Rhonda said, they were tight after that. And again, as you said, Brandon, a team like Georgia, 4 seniors, been here before, been to these national championships. Florida's got to get to that point, but until you win one, it's hard to get it done. 4th in the nation, not too bad, not as good as they'd like. And of course, the biggest thing is she's getting them there every year. Mm-hmm. So the biggest thing is going to have that breakthrough year.
Yeah. And only 2 seniors on the team too. They bring back a lot of talent next year. They should be vying for it again. They get to host it in 2010.
Exactly.
Maybe that's the year that it might happen. You got to look at that.
It'll get exciting there in Gainesville. Well, that's a long way off. For right now, though, we're going to head back to Gainesville. Come see all you good people who live there, and we hope you enjoyed this Gymcast. We'll be back. I guess the next cast for me will be preseason football. We'll get into the Gators preseason football. But until the next one, Brandon Zimmerman, the man who a Georgia grad, by the way. This is his town. He's been showing us around. Pat Dooley, the Gainesville Sun, saying so long from Athens, Georgia.